We're at the Bell Centre, and this is going to be the first game this evening of the Stanley Cup final down in Tampa Bay with the Montreal Canadiens. We're delighted to have Henry Mintzberg, who is one of the great management thinkers of the world, but more importantly has been coming to the Canadiens games for decades now. Henry, when did your family first get season tickets to the Canadiens?
It had to be in the 40s, Karl, because I remember going as a kid, and I was born in 1939. And I probably went to my first game when I was 8, 9 years old, so that's in the 40s.
And you still have season tickets today?
Yeah, not quite the same one.
So, any memories from the early years at the Forums?
No, I think I was too young. Oh, well, Forum, yeah. We used to sit just inside the blue line. And my father originally had tickets behind the Canadiens net, where the Canadiens defended for 2 years, right near Clarence Campbell. Was there that night as a stink bomb, and our tickets were right close to those. But eventually we traded them, and we were inside the blue line. We had a great time. My cousin used to sit right on the ice, next to the penalty, right next to the penalty box. And, yeah, that's a good memory. You know what my best memory is? This guy who used to play the trumpet all the time. We didn't have all this canned program kind of cheering. I hate it. We had very natural cheering, the way they do in Rio with smoke all over the place for football games, soccer games. And we had, it was much more fun. People just made up their own cheers and did them, especially the guy with the trumpet.
Your seats in the Bell Centre, great seats. Is there a story behind how you got those seats?
Yeah, it's really quite interesting. As I said, we were inside the blue line where the Canadiens defended for 2 periods. So when they called me, they called you an order of these tickets. So when they called me, they offered me the same basic tickets, and I said, well, can I get them on the other side? At least I can watch the Canadiens attack for 2 periods. And she said, well, I only have a quarter of the place. They obviously divided the whole thing into 4, and she had 1/4. And so that's where I fell. So I said, well, got anything else? And she said, look at the screen. I look at the screen. There are these 2 seats sitting there, and nobody grabbed them. There was no seats that weren't taken around them. They were 7 rows up on the red line behind the players' bench. Can you imagine? So I said, could I have those? She said, sure. I grabbed them, and that was it for perpetuity.
How do you compare the Forum to the Bell Centre? Is there things you like at the Bell Centre? Have they improved in some ways from the Forum, or are you old school and prefer the Forum?
It feels much the same to me, except that guy with the trumpet and all that. I'm not a fan of all this kind of program cheering. But that's technology. If they were still in the Forum, they'd be using that technology. No, there's fewer pillars and all that. But they refurbished the Forum years ago and got rid of the pillars. We didn't have them here. But, no, I think the feeling is the same.
How many games do you get to in the average year these days?
Well, why don't you ask the family? How many games does the family get to?
Okay.
Because, the price of those tickets is such that the only people who could really own them are people who either own them for their company, which is mostly the case, and pay them in their company and give them to their customers and all that, or you've got a lot of money personally.